Say your piece. The other part of the other purpose of the GA is that we are a decision-making body. There's no elected people right here. There are some committees. We do need some kind of structure, but we are here to make groups decisions. And so that is where the voting comes in. And motion.
Hey, there's solo shit. That's the guy that I think is gonna little bit.
Yeah, me too. I have to be there. Yeah. Yeah, I have a picture tomorrow that I haven't even started. So you can do that.
I will have a piece of pizza. Absolutely.
I'll let him know.
Occupying too much space with our tents, but us as people,
Man, social justice for the poor and homeless.
How you doing? What does it have to do with
Or the right to property.
a day off?
So I'll go ahead and I'll so you're
Are you taking any of the questions, officer?
I'll take whatever you want.
Okay. Who was the announcement made to? Is there any leadership that you're in contact with for the movement?
That's a very good question. At this point, I can't tell you any one person that's a leader. That's why we made about 200 of these flyers that I have in my hand. Instead of giving them to one person and get the message out, we actually give a flyer and are trying to give a flyer to every person that's out there.
When was this notice given and the flyer distributed to the general population of the occupiers?
About 4:15 today.
Exactly what the policy is in the distributed flyer. They distributed it at 4:30, and they said that everything has to go. The tents have to go. The people can stay. The people have a right to be here.
Okay.
But the stuff has to go. That is their line of demarcation.
Guys, General Assembly being held right now. Come on.
Are you guys preparing to move?
We're making it ready if we have to, but we don't know where we're going.
Standing up for myself.
What's happening, man?
I don't want to get back into my things.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's gonna be.
And I want everybody to be together. No way.
Everyone here.
That was where the food center was. A couple of candles burning now. Looks like everything is pretty well cleared out. Government. Huh. Well, we'll see. It's hard to believe that 24 hours ago this area was loaded with tents. At one point there were upwards of 95, 97 tents in and around this square. And now you can see it's pretty well cleared out. There are a group of occupiers who have taken to the streets in a march. It looked to be like there was probably somewhere between 50 and 100. There's one tent that still remains. So I don't know how many of those protesters are planning on staying, and if or how many of that group plan to be somewhat confrontational. Who is here for the actual Occupy San Diego and interested in acts of civil disobedience, and who here is just simply desperate and destitute and simply has no other place to go. Looks like we've got a group of people. There's a lot of tents here. And they just might not be ready to go. It appears that this group here doesn't have much of an intention of packing up and leaving in the next couple of hours.
No, that's not. I would really like to.
Alright, well, we support you.
The Marriott.
Is this essentially a small group of people that is planning on an act of civil disobedience?
I'd say it's a large
A large group of people.
Occupy Wall Street, and I'm an independent occupier. I feel on principle that
get a whole bunch of details.
demonstration,
Get all the details you can get. Logistical details.
this occupation is something that
Logistical details.
is meaningful to me, and I want other people to at least discuss why we're here.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, please ask me a question.
So when you get arrested,
If probably win. Yeah.
well, you plan to get arrested at some point. This week maybe a little spoon, right?
To be honest, when I started in this movement, I hadn't planned on being arrested. I hadn't even decided if I was going to be part of the movement.
Where's everybody else?
At times decided to leave, and now I'm back, and I believe in what we're here.
The marchers are coming back. I'm going to come back and talk to you. You know how fast rumors get started. I mean, you hear they're blocking the protesters, and of course the police have been very professional, and they simply have made sure that nobody is getting hurt to the best of their ability, keeping the safety as #1 priority.
People!
People who are willing to be arrested, please meet under the tents. Over here. People who are standing in solidarity, I really suggest you guys talk to amongst each other in how you want to execute in a circle around us. 2 circles around us, and at what point you want to let go of your hands so that you are not arrested, but the people inside are.
I do not consent to a search. Say it with me. I do not consent to a search. I choose to remain silent. I choose to remain silent. I want to see a lawyer. I want to see a lawyer. And if you're standing on the side, if you're not part of the people that are being arrested, and cops are hassling you, you're doing nothing but being peaceful, ask them directly, am I being detained? Say it.
Am I being detained?
If they say no, if they try to misdirect you, if you not get a yes, you are absolutely free to walk away. That is it. One more time, I am not being detained.
I am not being detained.
I do not consent to a search.
I do not consent to a search.
Oh, am I free to go?
Am I free to go?
I choose to remain silent.
I choose to remain silent.
I want to see my lawyer.
I want to see my lawyer.
Talk to a lawyer. No one talk to a lawyer.
Or one more thing, for the people that are not planning to, get arrested, if you're planning to be a supporter and helping us still, absolutely videotape, hold your sign. You can still make a ruckus and be peaceful. You don't have to be
Right.
You can still, you're still part of, you're still us. This is our movement, so you can still do your part. Taking those pictures. We are the media, so do that as well.
What does your sign say?
Well, just trying to figure out why I'm willing to get arrested. This is about it.
It reads, sacrifice for what you believe.
Yep.
You mentioned earlier that You got a sense of satisfaction from being here that you might not have had earlier. And that has been part of what's convinced you to stay. Can you remember when you first felt that when you got here? How that evolved?
It's a big question. I saw things. I saw things I liked. I saw things I didn't like. I saw people speaking about things I believed in, and also about things I couldn't care less about. 6 a.m. on Monday morning, I was on top of the parking garage. I was looking down at the people occupying, and I saw a man in a tie walk down, and there was an education station filled with books and ideas. People could come, take a book, get ideas, discuss those ideas, apply them to our world. And I saw a gentleman at 6 a.m. in a suit and tie going to work, walk by and start looking through our books. No one else was really up and around. And he nodded his head at some books and shook his head at others. And he took one step and he stopped and he took his backpack off, and out of the backpack he took a book and he set it on the table with the books, zipped his backpack up and walked to work. And to me that's what it's about. It's sharing ideas. It's 99%. It doesn't matter if you have a suit and tie, if you're homeless. I mean, obviously some situations are better than others, but we're all here to share ideas and try and figure out what's going on in the world and what we can do to fix it. And I think that discussion needs to be had, and I think awareness needs to be brought to the fact that all of us are feeling disgruntled, maybe isn't the right word, but frustrated or confused, or I mean there's so many adjectives I can use, but before we can talk about it we have to face some of the problems we're going through, and I think that's why I'm here. I want to talk about the issues. I want to try and find solutions, but I want that to be with all 99%, even 100%, even the 1%. This isn't, I'm not trying to exclude anybody. I think 100% of the people need to sit down and talk with each other and say, this is the problem I feel we have with the world. Let's analyze it. Let's see what we can do to make it better.
It appears that you've decided to participate in an act of civil disobedience and possibly be arrested.
Yeah, I never really planned on that. It just kind of...
Would you now consider yourself a political activist?
No, I'm sure I can be labeled that, though. I'm not really political, ironically. I'm just here because I believe there are problems in the world that need to be fixed.